All right, we are live. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in. 1 second here. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Looks like everything's starting to come through okay. Give me 1 second. Check this. Good, good, good. Looks like everything's starting to come through okay. Okay, good. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. It is Thursday, September 19th, 2019. So just about at the end of the week. So let's kind of take a look and see where we're at in the market. So we finished today up a whopping 6 cents in the market. Pretty amazing. I wonder if there's like a hidden meaning to that, right? What's the market 6 cents? But anyway, really close to all-time highs. The month is obviously green so far. Let's take a look at the week with 1 day left. Not an inside week, pretty close, but a harami right now. So meaning the real body is contained by the prior week's real body. So it's kind of like a little inside price action type deal here, but we'll see how we finish tomorrow. Right now the futures are up 4 points. We'll see if they give it one more push on a Friday to all-time highs. Keep in mind tomorrow is a quad witching day. Which means that we have 4 different contract expirations from futures to options, right? So that is tomorrow. It usually gets a little bit funky. I mean, there's nothing really going on there except there could be some pinning shenanigans type stuff going on. So we'll see tomorrow. Could be an interesting day as we follow today's day, which is the day after the Fed. Not as crazy as last Fed day. If we go back and look at last Fed day, we were what, here? And then we had that follow through there. So this Fed day, we kind of came down. We basically just, after today's high, we've adjusted our trend line up, and here we are. So a little bit of topping tail here, right, as we kind of get into all-time highs. But if we push up tomorrow, and there's some positive tweets and things like that, we could hit all-time highs. It could happen. So let's see how that goes. Let's kind of dig in a little bit and take a look at today's price action. Let's take a look at our geometric chart first. Sorry. So before we do that, so basically this is where we're at. We can see our pitchfork levels, our channel levels. So we've gotten over the pitchfork median line here. We've made a push through this resistance zone, which now basically should serve as support zone, and working our way up to the top of the channel. So if we do break through all-time highs, right, 30.2798, we should be able to get up at least probably pretty close to the channel here, maybe even touch like that 30.50 level. Who knows, might even overshoot it. So but we'll see if we can get that strength kind of through it. So all right, back to the price action day. Let me get this pulled up. This is today's SPX data. Today is the 19th. All right, so these are the levels that our subscribers get before every market opens. So just really good stuff. It helps us trade trading levels, right? Why do we trade levels? Because price likes to test levels, right? That's why we have price movement, right? It likes to test levels. It likes to bounce around, right? And check levels. So let's take a look today. So what did it do? Right, we gapped up, right? We had a big push yesterday after the Fed, right? Had a push down right after he spoke, and then we had that kind of rally into the close. And we had a little bit of follow through today, gap up and go. Right, and then a little push up. We tested a couple levels here, right? We tested the resistance 1 level on the daily, and we tested a monthly R1, right? And look what it did. We filled a gap today. So it was a closing gap above it. 30.20. Isn't that amazing how it likes to do that? It likes to close gaps. So that's what we did. It likes to fill gaps, right? So it did that, and then guess what else it did? It came all the way back down, retested these levels, right? Tested again. It's like down test it to up test, down test, down test, up test again, down, right? So it likes to do this. This price loves to do this. That's why when you can see good price action, at key levels, right, you can really make a good decision, educated decision on, which way to trade, right? A lot of folks like to trade, moving averages, things like that. If you use price action and trade off of levels, sometimes it can be a little bit clearer. You can actually, translate what price is doing. Not 100% perfect, right, but it's pretty good, right? I mean, here you can see, look at this. We had this big thrust up, right? Couldn't get to the level, right? Topping tail, upper shadow. Oh, test here, lower shadow. Oh, once it came here and failed, broke down, right? So these two were kind of projecting the ideas right here. Then we had a lower shadow, kind of a pause bar, and then a push up. Then a lower shadow, and then a push up again, right? And then we filled the gap. So if you want to see on the daily what that gap was, right? It was right here. This gap never got filled. So we closed here that day. That's why I call it a closing gap, and never got filled. So the close there was 30.2097. The high here was 30.2074. Missed it by 20 cents. and then we hit 30.21.99 today. So really amazing stuff how it fills these levels, and really good stuff to know. And then so what else happened today? We had another gap fill, right? Back down. Okay, so here, right, comes down, tests these levels, upper shadow, back down, big upper shadow right here, thrust down, right, lower shadow back up, upper shadow back down, right, lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow, tried to get up, right, couldn't get above it, and then came back down, and then guess what it did? It filled today's gap, right? We had two gaps, right? We have the opening gap, yesterday's high, right, the prior day's high, and then the closing gap, right? So we filled those levels today too. Pretty impressive stuff, right? Pretty amazing. So anyway, so that was today. So let's take a look, kind of go back a little bit, or kind of review what we talked about this week. So we really like to trade on the 15-minute time frame intraday, right? And so when we do that, right, we look for key price action signals to help us determine, right, whether or not we should enter a trade or not. And then, a lot of times, it's tough, right? We're looking at price action. Sometimes it's hard to read. Sometimes it's hard to. Let me actually get today's back up here. There seems to be an error carrying over on the prior day's close, but either way, it was pretty close. So we had these levels here. It's almost like this should be just slightly adjusted here. Give me 1 second. So close is about accurate, but activate this here. It was obviously that was the level there. Okay, I'll put this up a little bit here. Sometimes it's weird. Some of the numbers don't adjust over. Okay, so there we go. Right. So sometimes it's not entirely intuitive what price is doing, or sometimes we see an inside bar, or we get a key level, and it's difficult for us to determine whether or not we should take the trade. Right? We get hesitant. Maybe we've been stopped out on a certain setup a bunch of times, but we know it's probably pretty good, right? And we just need a little bit of extra confidence to get into. That's where indicators can help, right? So this week we talked about a couple different ones, right? We talked about the fast stochastic, combining that with the CCI, right? And then we also talked about yesterday. We talked about using the RSI 60/40. And so today we're going to put all that together. Okay, we're going to take a look at NFLX. So we get in here, SPX off the 15. Look at that topping tail right there, shooting star, right after it filled the gap. You think it was done? I'd say so, right? Nice move right here. So it was like that candle right there was saying, did the job, filled the gap, ready to go, test some other levels, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at Netflix. Okay, so let's first of all, let's start at Netflix and see what's going on with it, right? Let me kind of clear some of this stuff out here. Okay, so what is going on with Netflix? Netflix has been in a massive downtrend, right? Since before earnings, it had already started, right? So, it kind of worked its way up, and it really started moving down, right? What was our signal to know that? Our signal to know that was our trend lines, right? Trend changes, right, when it breaks down the trend line, right? So we had this move here, minor pivot here, close here, there's your short. Look at that, right into earnings too. Big move, right? We had a quick bounce off of that. You can kind of take this level right here, and just for an immediate term, here, right? Could have gone long that second day there and got a little bit of a spike on it, right? It happens. Okay, but it failed to go down, right? So we still have this trend line here, which has recently been adjusted, but we still have this downward trend line since earnings that has just continued down and down. So the trend has been down, right? Now, a lot of folks got bullish this week, right, on Netflix. A lot of folks were like, okay, well, we broke out of this downward trend line, right? We had this bullish close right here over the minor pivot level, and it went down after that, right? So it's kind of a fake out there. What was the one clue that we had that this wasn't necessarily a bullish move on this guy? Decreasing volume, right? So we went up and up and up on decreasing volume. We had strongest quote unquote strongest day, strongest candlestick with no volume, right? Very minimal volume relative to the recent days, right? And so then what happened? We kind of went down and down and down. And so that's where we're at, right? So we're still continuing to trend down. So why fight the trend, right? Why fight the trend? Right? If we're continuing to go down, now granted it's over the trend line, it doesn't matter, right? The trend hasn't changed yet because we haven't broken out over the minor pivot yet and continued, right? There's no confirmation there at all, right? So the trend remains down. Okay, you probably hear that all over the place, right? Wherever you go, whoever you talk to, right? Anybody who talks educational stuff about the stock market, right? Don't trade against the trend, right? So it's one of the kind of rules. So if you can buy when the trend is up and you can buy a little bit of a pullback, you usually can get a more explosive move out. You can buy the dip, right? So when something is downtrending, you can short the rips, right? So that's kind of the idea there. Or you can just continue, right? Or just trade a continuation move. So what did Netflix do today? That was pretty amazing, right? So what Netflix did today is very, very similar to stuff we've been talking about all week, right? So here's the 15-minute time frame. What do you guys see here? See a bunch of candlesticks, right? Well, obviously you see the cloud, right? Everything's below the cloud. That's fine, right? But what do we want? Let's put some levels in here, right? What's one key level that we like on the 15-minute time frame? We like the 15-minute orb, right? The 15 orb. So let's set that up there. Give me 1 second. Let me put it up. So 15 orbit 15. Okay. So we have this. Looks good. There we go. There's your 15 orbs. So there's your first 15-minute bar of the day, right? And it defines two key levels, right? The high and the low of the 15 orb, right? And what that is, that defines levels that are important, right? So it's where this is where basically the bears are defending, right? If it goes above that, they give up. It goes that way. Here's where the bulls are defending. If it breaks down, then they give up, right? And the bears start to take over. Okay. Okay, so what's a key signal to say where this 15 orb might break down? Do we trade it right at the time it tries to break down? Not necessarily, right? What do we like? We love these inside bars when they happen, like at these key levels, right? So how can we kind of identify that easier? Well, we can change color of it, right? That's one way to do it. So I like to do it, right? Just put that on there. Oh, there's my inside bar. It stands out right there. Oh, we had a double inside 15 right there that went up yesterday. Amazing, right? Nice follow through too. Okay, so that being said. Cool. So what do? We just, when this happens here, we just short off of that. I mean, it's kind of the basic idea, right? But what could give us a little bit more confidence to show that, hey, maybe that's going to happen, right? Just add what we talked about this week, right? So let's put that stuff in. Okay, so number one, we'll put in the RSI. Okay, we'll make sure it's 60-40. Okay, and then we'll put in the stochastic fast. Okay, and then we'll put in the CCI. All right, let me just adjust the RSI real quick to 60-40. 2 seconds here. Okay, there we go. Apply. All right, now we got some indicators in there to help us out a little bit. Okay, so it's like we have, some nice clues, and then the price action move add a little more confidence to it, right? It helps us place those trades. It is what it is, right? Give us a little bit of an edge, right? So that's what we like. Okay. So here we are. So inside 15. So what happened? What did we talk about yesterday? We talked about the 40-60, right? And what else did we talk about, right? So it's a little bit different when you switch your levels, right? It switches from being overbought and oversold to, can I actually become bullish or am I actually bearish, right? That's kind of the question that's happening there when we put that stuff up there, right? And so when we see this, what do we see with the price action here? So it was nice yesterday. If we go back to Netflix yesterday, right after the Fed, we had this double inside 15, right? And then it started to break out here, started to move, and look what happened with the RSI. It started to break through the bearish zone, right? Down here, it's like, hey, I'm bearish down here, right? Don't try to go long with me while I'm down here until I get above that 40, right? And if I can stay above that 40, I can continue to stay bearish. So we had a couple interesting things yesterday, right? We had this, gold cross here on the stochastic, right at the double inside 15, and we were already bullish on the CCI, right? We had already crossed over there. Now they weren't all in conjunction, which we love, which we're about to see in a second, right? But that was kind of an indication here that Netflix is bullish into the close yesterday, right? We got that follow through today, right? Now today, well, Netflix is still in a downtrend, right? So we got that snapback right there. So what does it look like, kind of big picture, right? Well, what does it look like? It looks like a wave, right? So down, right, 1, 2, 3, right? I mean, just wave, wave down. Okay, so let's take a look at our price action here today on Netflix. Okay, so we had this double inside, or we had this inside 15, right? And what happened here with the RSI? We could not break over the 60, right? It's beautiful, right? This told us right away. It wasn't even at this time frame. It showed that, in general, that we're still in the bearish zone, right? We could not get bullish. We could not get super bullish here, right? So it came off of that. So that was good. But what else did it do simultaneously, right? We also had a, kind of the death cross here on the stochastic, and then we finally crossed over through the overbought territory on the stochastic right at the inside 15. It was great, right? And then finally the CCI crossed over, right? That went from overbought here and back into this territory. So this all happened on this inside 15 bar, right? To give us that clue that we could enter here short off of the inside 15, right? And just put a stop above there, right? So the range of this is only $1.14. Put a stop above that and then let it go, right? The thing's already downtrending, right? That's where we started. I mean, Netflix is already in a downtrend, right? So let it continue to slide down. It gave you the opportunity at a key level today. Gave us the opportunity at a key level today. All right. Right here at the 15 orb low. If it couldn't defend that, it was already below it, right? well, it actually is above it here. If it pushed below it again, right, time to go. We talked about yesterday coming retesting these levels, right? Real weak, right? Under the 60, crossovers here and here, right? And then there it is, the break to the downside. Just to show you what that looks like, obviously trading the stock is really excellent, right? So I mean, it was a move from 290 all the way to 280, almost a 7-point move, right, on that. But that's expensive, right? $289. So we like to trade options, right? So let's take Netflix right here. 190920 looks like the puts, right? So let's just look at the at the time the 290s were pretty close to at the money there. Could have done the 292.5s. It's fine. Okay, look what these did. Here's your bar right here. Look at that. It had perfect confluence too on the option chart as well, right? So you had, instead of, while everything was crossing down there, everything was crossing up here. Right, so that's always nice. And you had a confluent bar here. You had an inside bar on the options too, which is great. So where's your entry? Where's our entry? 192. Even if you missed it a little bit, $2. Right, 10-cent stop is right at the low there, maybe a little bit below, like 150. So 50-cent risk. 50-cent risk, right, to go at least here on this first leg. Boom, all the way to $4, right? A nice 2-point move. So that's a 1 to 2 risk reward just off of the first move. And then, trailing bar by bar, or slightly bar by bar. If we put our levels up, which we'd like to use, right? It's easier to get up here. Went all the way up to $7 from $2. That's a 1 to 10 risk reward. That's incredible, right? All because, right, we knew what the macro trend was of Netflix. Right, here's your weekly chart. I mean, does this look bullish at all? Is there anything bullish about this? No, right? I mean, it did attempt to cross over the trend line. That's the one thing, but it couldn't do it on volume, right? This was the one day that it tried. All it did is give us a new minor pivot to work with, right? So the trend is down. Trade with the trend, right? Let the trend be your friend. Don't trade against the trend, right? That's the idea. And so unless the trend changes, then you can reverse and attempt to go with a new trend, right? So anyway, beautiful setup to Netflix. It puts together all the stuff that we talked about today or this week, right? It talked about the key levels, the orb levels, the inside bars, the RSI, the stochastic, and the CCI, and all came together for a beautiful trade on Netflix today. 7 points on the options, right? And just only 8 points. I mean, the options traded perfectly down on it. It was great. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through many as we can. Try to wrap up by 10 o'clock so we can get a good night's sleep before quad witching day tomorrow. So we'll do that. Good stuff. Alpesh, what's going on? Hello. Session, what's happening? Jumping in right and early. Let's take a look. So VSRN, goodness gracious, pardon me. Let's go to our daily chart and see what kind of goodness we have here. VSRN. See what? Did I type in the right thing? VSRN. VRSN. Verisign. Is that what you're talking about? Nice. I mean, I hope so because this looks pretty good. I like this. So here's your trend right here. It's getting really, really close. I like it. Does it do? It only has monthly options, but we can still take a look at it. I'm going to add it to our list. Just keep an eye on it. We're getting really, really close to the trend line. Nice. T. Oh yeah, T's looking pretty good here. Right, so that big push down after it had that big push up. Right, here's your low. Here's your trend line. Okay, getting really, really close. So that could be interesting too. T could be interesting too for a pop. We'll add that to this. Ooh, especially you got some good ones tonight. TSN. Chicken company, right? Chicken price fixing. Remember that? So wow, this is looking pretty good here. So that was, you had your low right here. That was your level, right? Minor pivot, right? Decent volume up, right? Now you've got kind of this and this. So you do have a fresh minor pivot right here. So if we could close above those, that could be pretty interesting on the chicken company. And then Pepsi. Very, very challenging, just like Coke. There's your low. There's a, I mean, it's just really, really tough right now. Maybe you could get a little, if we could close over 136 with a bullish candle over the next couple days, we could get a little pop on it. But to me, it's not worth it until you get kind of into this type of down type range, right? So, yeah, oh man, Verizon looked great. I'm sorry, Verisign looked great. Nice one. Rahul, how's it going? Hello. Zynga. Oh, I haven't looked at that stock in a while. Okay, yeah. Well, a little kind of penny type stuff, of course, but let's see. So here's the low here. We had this here. It kind of tried to here. Really, really choppy stuff, and now it's just kind of, gosh, this has been really, really difficult. It's tough with the penny stocks, right? It's coming right into the cloud here. We might get a little bit of a breakout. If it does, you could possibly test the top of this fib fan line eventually, right? Somewhere around 650. But I don't know. To me, it gets really, really challenging, right? You have a little gap above too. Maybe I'll get to 620, find a little resistance there, kind of go. Run. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, run was great, guys. This is a good entry. I can't remember who mentioned this the other day. Maybe it was you. Well, sorry if it was you, but this looked great, guys. So look at that. Beautiful entry right there on 916 on increasing volume over the minor pivot. And you got this huge spike the next day right up toward the cloud. You can't really ask for much more than that for a one-day trade. Nice, nice. Very, very nice on that one. In terms of follow through, you're at the cloud right here. It's kind of consolidating a little bit. It could work its way up, but that was the move right there. Still keep an eye on it too, right? If it changes trend here. So good stuff there. What else? Plug. What's the? Think Buddy's got a bone over there. I was like, what is he munching on? Ooh, plug. Look at this. That looks cool. $2. It's tough. It's priced like an option, right? So just keep an eye on this here. Here's your trend line, right? To see how it handles this trend line. If it breaks below it, right, might be a possible short off of that. Good stuff there. T-Doc. Okay, yeah. Let's see here. Tie to here. Yeah, keep an eye on this. Could be interesting. Over the next couple days, could give a little minor pivot and then a push back down to the cloud. In the meantime, it is holding trend, so if you're bullish on it, right, as long as it holds trend, right, you're good to go. Dustin, what's happening? Yo, TWOU. To you. Oh man, this is tough. This is one of those. What is it? What are they buying? Something? I don't know. Gosh, it seems to like to just gap and be flat for a while. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, you could try like a little scalpy type short on it, but I wouldn't mess with this thing. It's like almost out of play, you know. But yeah, you could try a little scalp short on it, possibly. Dish. Dish. Yeah. So there was some news on this. Like T was like selling their dish, stuff. Tough until here. This was kind of the entry bar I would have had. It had like a 3-day pullback and then it launched. So 3 days of pain and then and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of great. From there it's basically kind of holding a little bit of trend right here. So maybe it's tough. It's at the cloud, right? So if it breaks down below the cloud, and gives you a confirmation bar below there, it could drop a little bit. Something to look at. MGM. Get these highs here. This looks good. Ooh. Normally I would say this would be a good entry today, but you still have this pivot to get below here. This was a big day on volume, right? So it has to really close below there. If it did, you might see a breakdown out of the cloud. Otherwise, just see if it holds the cloud and could give a little bit of move up. So good stuff. And Eli and F. Callaway. We tried trading this for earnings, and it was really, really challenging. This is better for a swing. So let's take a look and see if it's swingable. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's trending up until proven otherwise. I might pull back to the trend line to see how it handles it in a couple days. And then F. Big recovery, guys. Actually, I want to go back to Ellie right here, guys. And this is one we should have caught because this was a 15 orb stock. And we like to buy these pullbacks on it. So let's see what it did here. It had this move here, right? Had a failed breakout here, so this kind of moved here. Then we had this breakdown and finally started to push here. Pretty tricky. Here's your minor pivot. That was your day to go long. 1 day pullback and then up. So just be careful. It's kind of back up to its earnings highs. So just kind of see how it handles. Obviously, it's finding some resistance there, topping tail, topping tail. So something to look at there. Good. And then F. F for Ford. Not looking good. Tricky here. High. This. I mean, it still has to close below this level to kind of get bearish. Just a little tricky here. Ford still stand below $10. You have, let's see, you had this low here. This closed here. Yeah, I mean, so it was possible for long on this day. A little bit of low volume. Maybe in this day would have been good. A little higher volume would have been fine. This would have been better. Slight increase in volume and then up. Want to keep watching? Looks good. Netfry, what's happening? Sarah, good evening. Mokshiatananda, what's happening? SE? Let's take a look. Yeah, wow, it had that big pop up there, and then back down. So now here's your recent low. Here, oh, that makes it really, really tricky. It really has to close above this level, the high of this level, 3308-ish bullish, and then it's already in the cloud, so it gets a little icky in there. I mean, it could eventually work for a breakout on it, but it's a little bit tough on that one. Wing. Yeah. Some people like to trade this one. Let me see. I think it was Option Millionaires, Buffalo Wings. I can't remember. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's an opportunity on this one. Let's see how it looks on the option. So you have the monthly charts right here. If it did close above here, maybe it could get a shot at like 93-ish. I'm just kind of looking and seeing, it's okay. Doesn't have a lot of volume on its options, but yeah, if it closes again above today's high, I would say there's a chance that maybe touching kind of getting to the cloud here. You just have to be careful it doesn't stall out early at 90, right? If it were to do that, but it is starting to look pretty interesting there. I like that little RSI there too. Good. AYX. Oh wow, they really got slammed recently, huh? They were going up that channel and then boom, channel breakdown. We looked at this the other day. Let's just kind of see where we're at here. There's your low. There's your prior. Right, so just look for a bullish close over any one of these to try to work its way up to that level B. Okay, so it is looking pretty interesting. What kind of options does this thing have? Same. 140s. Let's see. Maybe it could be interesting. That would be really swinging it to get there. It's possible. Possible it could get up to that 140 level. We'll see. It's tough in the cloud. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. Keep checking on that one. MCD. Not yet. I wasn't ready yet. If it closed bullish today, I was ready to go long on it, but right now it just keeps on giving those topping tails here. So we'll see if it wants to continue to work its way up or work on the pivot down again and break it down out of the cloud. Dennis, what's going on? Not a trader, but I'm learning. Nice. All right, cool. Welcome aboard. And I'm glad you're learning because that is the most important thing. And in fact, I think trader should be synonymous with student anyway, right? Because we're forever students in the market, right? So, and then you're a trader once you start, you look for good deals in the market, right? Based on patterns that you recognize. So, and then you put your money on the line for it. JK, what's going on? V? Yeah, starting to get there. Keep an eye on V. If it closes above today's highs. Yeah, it's starting to get there. Keep that on the list. All right, I'm digging. GS. GS, I tell you, it's so sneaky, right? This is the perfect trend line, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but you know what I mean. Like this is the perfect what we want, right? And then we had this beautiful minor pivot right here. All we needed was like a little bearish bar to close below it, and instead they gave us a hammer, right? Makes it really, really tough, and now it's got to close basically below 212.50 bearishly, for maybe a move down to 204, which we'll take. I mean, I'll take that all day long, but definitely keep an eye on GS here. All right, could be interesting. And then Twilio. Thank goodness a lot of these software names got good. We had a great swing today with Splunk. That was a nice one. So inside day yesterday, right? Kind of a little crouching tiger type move, and then boom, big pop up today. Unfortunately, it didn't finish red. I'm sorry, it didn't finish green, and so we'll see what it has in store. Right? Look for maybe a little bit of a pullback, and then if we can close above it again, then maybe we can make a shot up to kind of that 130 range. Definitely keep an eye on Twilio. Heather, good evening. Hope you're doing well. MTN, good stuff. Awesome. Enjoy Life Apparel. Hello. Steve, what's up? How about TER? Let's take a look. Teradyne. Yeah. I feel like we looked at this the other day. I'm waiting for like a trend line to pop up here. Here to high to there. Yeah, still holding trend, still bullish until proven otherwise. How are the options on this thing? Does it trade at all? Monthlies? Yeah, low volume, low open interest. Oh, not too bad here. Keep an eye on it. See if it holds this trend. Keep asking about it too. We want to keep looking. So good. Appreciate it, Steve. Albert, what's going on, man? Good evening. Can we go through CGC intraday like you went through Netflix? Couldn't call the bottom on it today. Let's take a look. Keep in mind, guys, CGC is really tough, right? It does trade tough. Oh, just look at that bar too. All right, so here's what we got on CGC, right? So overall, right, obviously, the trend, big time. Look at that. We looked at it over here. What long time ago? You can tell by the color of my trend lines. Overall, the trend is down. Okay, so here's your, look at that. You can kind of zoom in right here and just see. I can kind of clear out some of this stuff. Oh, let me remove the Bollinger Bands too. Let's clean it up a little bit there. Okay, so the recent trend, other than the cloud, is clearly like kind of going down like that, right? You can take your trend line from here to the low to there. Why do I say here? Because of that guy right there. Okay, trend is down. In fact, you can make a channel out of it too. It's actually a beautiful channel. Obviously, like trend lines. Channels are trend lines, but they just kind of show you the top and bottom of ranges that it likes to go in. So you go here, right, to there. Okay, let's kind of see if we can connect a couple points here-ish, right, like that. Anyway, this is still your trend line, right? So that's kind of one of the clues right there. So obviously everything is trending down, right? And what did it do? It came all the way up to this level right here, right? And then it looks like it would be ready for a bounce back down, right? So that's what happened, right? Came here. And this trend line, I didn't just draw it here I connected here, right, to the high because the prior low was here, right? So that was the connection point. So that's one of the first clues. One, the cloud, right, kind of going down, right? I'm sure if you slapped a moving average on this thing, like what do people like to use? You like the 13, right? There. Let me just slap the 13 on there real quick. Okay, so so general, and it's starting to turn up a little bit, right? But generally it's kind of downish, right? So, okay, but general trend, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit closer here. All right, so the recent move, right, was here, right? Here's your high. Here's your low. There's your pivot, right? There's your prior pivot before it hit, without intersecting anything else. Here's your minor pivot right here. Here's your close above that minor pivot, right, with increased volume. Nice day right here, right? Low volume, higher volume on this bullish bar, and that was your swing, right? That's your fun lotto. That's your lotto fun right there, right? And then it starts to get a little bit choppy, right? And then it gets to your channel top, the broader trend line, right? So general, the trend is down, right? Could have caught a real nice scalp on that here, right? And then we have that trend, this up here too. That's kind of like your target. Okay, and then you go to the 15 and just kind of see what happens. Oh, look at this. Double inside 15 right there, right at the cloud low. Again, this extended hours are off right here. Double inside 15 down. Now, what happened? Very, very similar, right? We crossed below on the RSI 60. Okay, right? We had a death cross here already. Right, so everything was already trending down, right? And by this time, by the time we got the double 15, right, it already started to cross over, right, into very, very bearish territory, into the 40s, right? Same with everything. Everything was getting oversold here. So, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't at the top of the range like Netflix was, right? But it's very, very similar, right? Everything was saying bearish. So you have your double inside 15, and that breaks to the downside, right? And then you can go into the 5 and look for, kind of, other bars, maybe, potential setups here. Right? This shows you that consolidation range, right? Remember, overall trend was down. It got to the top of that, right, that area. Then you had this consolidation range right here, right? And then, boom, bear flag, boom, right? So that's about all. That's about where I guess just given the trend, like the macro trend. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Sumit, what's going on? Can we share a link to the recording? Yeah, man. So if you follow me, definitely check the links in the description there. If you go to Twitter, I always retweet it in Twitter, right? And everything gets saved to YouTube. So if you don't go to Twitter, if you subscribe in YouTube, you just go back to like all the recent videos, and it'll be the most recent. It's always definitely recorded, right? Okay. And just keep in mind, everything here is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, right? Dimitri, what's going on? Beyond. Let's take a look. BYND. So Beyond, very interesting, right? So it's given some good moves, right? We looked at this last Friday for a potential swing, right? And actually, the day to swing it was really here. I didn't see that it really technically closed above this level. So that was good. So it gave a nice swing up to 160, pretty close to the cloud. And now it's starting to break down. Here's your first minor pivot here inside day. So that's a possible place to possibly go short. But really what we want is some sort of confirmation below today's lows, right? So it has to close really below 140, 149 with a little bit of authority. And then we might see a little more push to the downside, right? You can kind of see what happened here. This is a good example here to there. Here's your minor pivot. This is perfect right here. See how that topping tail that closed below this whole minor pivot right here? You go short this day at the end of the day. Hello, everything is awesome, right? So there you go. So you go from there, and then just have to see what we got right now. Right now we're seeing some bottom shadows. So not saying it's bullish, not saying it's bearish. It's inside day, right? So, but if anything, is we're breaking down on the trend, so we will see if that kind of tests those recent lows. So something to think about. Okay, cool. Experience and thoughts. What's happening? Etsy. Let's take a look. Etsy's been great, guys. And experience and thoughts. Thanks for pointing this out the other day. I mean, this thing's been incredible, right? I mean, just beautiful minor pivot right here. This was the day to go long right here, and then see ya, right? Inside day here, maybe it's going to give another low consolidation and try to get out of the cloud, but really the big move was here. I think it was like a 5 or 6x trade out of there. Just really, really beautiful stuff. Roku, take a looky look. Whoa, what have I done? Ooh, I got it. That's fine. Yeah, good. Roku. Yes, thank you for asking about that. Sorry, I was kind of walking all over the place here. So Roku, thank goodness, right? Well, we had this big move down. We had this bear flag. I tweeted that out recently, right? Then we flushed down after that. So I love these fresh lows. Why? Because we can draw a trend line. We got a nice trend line on it now. And now we got a couple days. Give Roku a little bit of time. What I'd love is for it to, look at that. We have a little gap right here, right? Just come on down and fill that gap and tag the cloud and give us a minor pivot right here and close above it there with the increased volume on a bullish day and then launch. That would be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to. The Roku, we'll see what it does. Apple. Okay, guys, so Apple, pretty interesting, right? Little topping tail right here. I'll tell you what it did today. Always impresses me. I love when it does this. It filled the gap, right? And it did it quickly, and it came back down off of it. It's like that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff. So it actually gave another signal here too, guys. This is off the 15, right? Cross over the 15 orb high, right? Topping tail, right? And everything topped out here, right? Crossover, 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 right? And Apple was a really good short too. If you didn't get NFLX, Apple set up a little bit later in the day. So it was really, really good stuff. So 2 awesome shorts today possible. Anyway, gave a little minor pivot here. It has another minor pivot here. So basically at this point, right, if it closes below 219.40 or something like that with some authority, right, then it could be a potential short. And then pins. Yeah, thank you for mentioning pins. I haven't looked at this one in a while. Ooh. Yeah, pins is consolidating a little bit here. Here, just look at that. That's a little macro trend line. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Here to the lows. Right, minor pivot. Yeah, I mean, it's got a few things going on. A little bit tricky, right, with the cloud and all that stuff. But I'll wait for this trend line, see if it gets to it. I'll put an alert on this. Just kind of keep an eye on it. All right, I'm not going to track it, but I'll put an alert on it. Experience with lots. How can I use the Thanicator? Sorry, I'm a little slow to catch up. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, just basically all you have to do is here. I can't remember. It just definitely DM me later on that. But in general, right? If you go to the daily chart, you just take your you embed your RSI and your 5MA right here, right? But you can DM me about it later. I'll send you like all the links to it and stuff. I'll send you a good video on it. I know, it's okay. Lots of stuff going on, and plus you're busy building things. So, and then, STNE. Yeah, you've been asking about. Everybody's been talking about this recently. It's getting there. It's getting there. Move here, right? Definitely worth keeping an eye on, right? Might give it, a couple point move to the downside eventually. Let's see if it gives you a minor pivot and then closes below it. Oh, no, no, it's good. No, 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 I'm happy. Cup and handle on GS. I think I saw that a second ago. Let's take a look. Maybe broader. This guy? Yeah. Yep, could be. Looks cup and handle-ish. Nice. Dimitri, thanks for yesterday's freebies. Oh, yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. Freebies and X. Did you want to look at steel? Yeah, I mean, big drop down today, right? Bullish, so we might see a move tomorrow. I think I understand that, but anyway, my pleasure. Steve, hey, my pleasure. Seneca, what's going on? Tesla, huge gap ahead. Triangle, inside cup and handle? Question mark. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Tesla, guys, is actually looking pretty good. Or pretty interesting. Okay. Here's what I'm seeing on Tesla right here. Yeah, so we got this cup and handle, right? The handle there is actually looking like a bull flag to me. Got this nice gap up here, right? So it's starting to look pretty bullish. This was a good day to actually test it, as it tested the the cloud and the bottom of the bull flag, right? So nice little move up off of that. Now let's see if we can get a little confirmation move right above here, because this is actually a trend line, right, from this high to this low, right? So if we can confirm above that, that would be very, very interesting, right? So let's keep on that. This would be trending, right? It's trending up macro. Let's see if this bull flag can trend it up a little bit and get that gap. I like it. Message me in the morning about that too, so we can remember. Thomas, Ulta, second inside day. Move coming? I don't know. I know, I see a double inside day on Ulta, for sure. But once these things get beat up like that so hard, it could take like a month or two for this thing to really start moving, right? I mean, I'm trying to, if I can show an example. I mean, it did get smashed here pretty good, but not as much as it. This was painful. It was like 100 points. So it might take a little bit longer. Keep an eye on the volume. Keep an eye and see what's going on, right? And yeah, might take some time. But look for sales. Decrease volume too. So see if some volume starts to pick up. See if it starts to want to confirm, out of a trend. Maybe even if it have like a really bullish day, like closed above here, that could be interesting. So kind of keep an eye on that a little bit. Cool. Good stuff. MTN, smash that like button, everyone. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, MTN. Yeah, like. Retweet. Thomas, could you let me know which study turns the inside bar in yellow, please? Yeah, so it's a self-made study. I can put if you guys use Thinkorswim, I can share the code with you. I'll just type it in here. It's easy. It's like one line. I'll paste it down here. Just create a new thing and call it whatever you want and paste that in there, and there you go. Dimitri, what's up? Sean M. SQ. Great question. Let's take a look. Yes, SQ, has been trying to break out of this trend. I love this big trend right now. This thing got beat up too, right? But it's really starting to get active, right? Some stuff happening here. So we had a nice minor pivot. So if we can get a nice green bar here that closes above, 60, 70, or 61, right? We could see a push up here to this kind of 67, 68 level, test the cloud, right? That'd be pretty cool. Definitely keep an eye on Square. I do have Square in here. Yeah, there it is. Good. How's my buddy Twitter? Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a good question. Didn't I say this thing was going to go to like 10 last year or something? I've stopped making such bold predictions. I think I said it'd be sub 10 by like the end of 2018 or something. Anyway, it was really setting up for like a macro, like head and shoulders. I'm telling you, I was convinced. I was like, it's over for Twitter. Anyway, here's the trend line right up here. Starting to break down a little bit, right? Minor pivot. If it closes below, 42-ish with red, it might hit the cloud at like, boring. Twitter's so boring. I stopped looking at it altogether. It does trade nice at the open, though, if you use a 60 anchor on it. So, yeah. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's kind of just doing its thing right now. Oh, Albert, let's take a look at Microsoft, yeah. So thoughts Thoughts here? I mean, the big thoughts on this one. What all-time highs, right? This thing is in a super uptrend since forever. One pullback and then up, right? So I mean, it hit all-time highs today, right? It's tough. It's got to find buyers up there. That's really the trick at all-time highs, right? It does, it just has to find buyers, people that want to buy it, right? So that's what I see, right? We put in an all-time high today. A lot of times, folks like to buy all-time highs, and it got pushed back down. Um, yeah, it's just what happens, right? Because it's like you got to find fresh supply, right? Fresh demand up there. But what I do like here is we did finish green, and we got a lot of volume in today, right? So that's some good stuff, right? So these are now key levels, right? So it's going to try to hold this gap a little bit. The top and tail is concerning, but it did finish pretty green today. If you go back to the price action intraday, you had like your 15 orb right here, a little breakout, right? Inside bar, right? I wouldn't necessarily shorted that today, you know. Even here on this drop off of the inside 15, I mean, you're still not even at the orb level. In fact, let me remove that there. But yeah, it held up pretty well. Just gap and kind of held. Gap and drift. All right, so you just had to be positioned for it. I think you were. I think you had a nice swing on that one, so that's good. So it seems to be holding up pretty well. Eventually they'll try. They'll probably pay another stab or two at the all-time highs and might get up to like 145 or something like that. Just pay attention tomorrow for the quadruple witching. I might try to pin it somewhere at like 140 or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Good stuff. Thomas, yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Thanks for sub 10. Right. I did. I thought it. I mean, I really did. But anyway, I'd convinced myself. I had done like this elaborate Elliott wave analysis on it. I was like, this thing is going to 10. It's unquestionably going to, and then I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute. No, it doesn't just work like that, right? There's still bulls out there. It's not like they all just move out of the way. Anyway, good stuff. All right, Albert. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I didn't get any emails from Shirley tonight, so I don't have Shirley stocks. Usually she doesn't. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't really do too much from Thursday to Friday. But anyway, looking forward to tomorrow. It's Friday, so guys, remember it's option expiration day. So if you have Robinhood, obviously you're not trading tomorrow's options. Can I break it down? I actually did a video on it in the past. I think I've got it on here. So hold on one second. I did a full video on it. Quad. I did a video. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it right here. Basically, all it is, right, is you have there's 4 contracts that are expiring, right? So you have your weekly contracts on your options. You got your monthly contracts, right? Tomorrow's monthly expiration day, right? Then you've got your futures contracts that are expiring, right? And then I think they also say that you have like individual. Hey, thanks, man. And you also have your individual futures contracts that are expiring. So you have all 4. Thank you, bless you too, man. Appreciate it. So you have all of those together that are expiring one day. And so what it is like on all sorts of fronts, right? If you have somebody trying to, market makers trying to pin the S&P futures so they can get, lose the least amount of money or have the least amount of payouts on the S&P, well, that moves the market a little bit. But at the same time, stocks are expiring too, and the monthly options are expensive. So there's a lot of stuff in play tomorrow. So it could be kind of volatile, right? I don't know. I've never really seen it. It's just another day, in the market. But there is stuff going on, and sometimes there's more volume that day too, which is good, which we need it. I mean, I'm surprised today after Fed it was kind of boring. So, but anyway, this is what it is. So good. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night, right? So we go through awesome charts, and some of these charts are great. Like I added to the game plan, and they turn out to be great trades. Like over the next couple of days, like Experience and Thoughts, like nailed that Etsy one. You guys really come up with great stuff. Albert, Microsoft. I mean, you guys just always come up with great stuff. So it's helpful that we all work together. So yep, have a good night, and check all the links in the description. And remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.